Hey everybody, good evening. Here we are at session 11. We're getting close to the midpoint of the term. Um, and wow, it's cold out there. I walked down from Northwest Portland. There were a couple of flakes in the air. It was chilly, and so this is a fine lecture to take from home because basically we'll be doing more of that refactoring kata tonight. You may recall we started it last Monday, and I think we left off with some good ideas of where we can go next, and we'll explore that tonight to learn more about the technique of refactoring, of improving your code to make it more readable and more extensible. But before that, I wanted to open up the floor for Prime Minister's questions. Been a lot of activity over the last couple of days. People finishing off their project twos and getting the feedback and responding to the feedback from the graders. Project 3 is due on Wednesday, and Project 4 is also assigned. So what can I tell you? What questions do you have? Any observations? Anything you'd like to share?
Is this gonna be for either of the projects, or are we sticking with project two first and then project
No,
three?
any question you'd like. Let's just do it.
I have a quick question about project three. I
Yep.
know that in the footnote for it, you mentioned you might want to use a Java time format, date time formatter to parse the date and time.
Yeah.
Also, since we want to use the formatted, we want to have get arrival string and get departure string, show return strings that are formatted using format style dot short.
Yep.
I just want to make sure, does that mean that when we do, say we print out using, print out the flights, instead of like January 1st, 2024, we want it to say January 1st, 24?
Ah, good. Okay, excellent question. Yeah, because there was a couple posts about this on Slack also. Because yeah, there's lots of date formatting and stuff in here. So so yes. So when like toString is invoked with dash print, it'll continue to use get departure string and get arrival string. Essentially, kind of hard coded because it's all in a final method. And now what the grader will be looking for is that the dates in those in the toString output is format style.short. So yes, instead of being what was passed in the command line, which is probably what everybody did for projects 1 and 2, now we'll be looking for a string that's formatted with format style.short. Did that answer the question?
That did. Thank you very much. Second question would be if somebody is, if the user wants to use both the pretty and the text file options, and they happen to, say, provide the same file, what should our expected behavior? Do we want to have it first do the text file option first so that we're not going to be trying to read a pretty file where that's not going to be fitting the format that we are expected to be able to parse from our text file? Or should we try to throw a some kind of yeah, yes.
Yeah. Excellent question. So I don't specify what that behavior is, and it turns out I'm not going to test it. So, do what you think is best. I think your section option, where you say, hey, dash pretty and dash text file can't be the same file, that would be fine because you're exactly right. If you pretty print over your text file, you basically clobbered your text file and you can't read it anymore. So, I'm always going to use different files for dash pretty and dash text file. And if you want to implement some logic, yeah, I think the thing that makes most sense is to issue an error in that case.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. And actually, one thing I did want to print out, I wanted to point out um, that was in Slack over the weekend. I thought was a good observation. That when it comes to formatting and parsing the dates that are in the text file, um, let's see here. Well, actually, depending on how, yeah. So one thing that you could do is use time formatter to parse parse the dates and times that are in the text file. You can also use it to parse the dates on the command line because it's changed a little bit. But if you're using a regular expression or whatever, that's probably fine too. That doesn't matter to me how that's implemented. But I guess at some point you'll need to convert the text to a local date time, in which case you'll want to use a datetime formatter. And whether you do that in the command line or the command line in the text parsing, up to you. See if there's something in chat. A question in chat for the dash pretty option. How is that to standard out red? Would it be dash pretty dash? Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes. So dash pretty dash, and there was another question about this in Slack. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. If you just say dash pretty dash, that means pretty print it to standard out.
And I see that the three-letter airport code is in case insensitive, and I have my code going forward with the time unit, so AM PM is case insensitive, and then I make it into uppercase before I make it into a local date time.
Oh, okay. Yep, you
Is
can
that
do that.
acceptable?
Oh, good. Totally acceptable. As a matter of fact, yeah, I think one of the things that we learned the hard way last time was that yes, the date time formatter only accepts uppercase AM and PM, which I guess is the proper abbreviation. I guess lowercase is no longer considered valid. But yeah, I went through and I made sure. Yeah, I remember going through and adjusting all the test cases last time to make everything uppercase. So yeah, I like what you did there, which is in the code recognize that um, the A and PM must always be uppercase before you can parse it. Oh yeah. Could I elaborate on take advantage of the EDU airport names class? Yes, I'd be happy to. Okay, airport names. So here I am in the code. I'll just look at airport names. So what airport names is a class. This is one of my one of my classes, not one of your classes. And it has a static method. Jeez. Yeah, as a static method, get name, which returns the name of an airport for the given code, or null if the airport doesn't exist. So then, from here, this is what determines what all of the valid or the known airports are, is whether or not it's here in this list. So basically, if you call get name and it returns null, then it's not a valid airport code. Or sorry, it's not a known airport. Wesley, did that answer the question? So yes. Think so? Okay. Yeah, and so the intent here is that when you, oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, you're meant to use this for finding unknown airports and for your pretty printer, right? So then, in addition or instead of using the airport code, you can use you can just use the full name here for all of the airport codes. Yep. Yeah. So if you just take them in case insensitive, and then to uppercase them to when you use them to look up in this map and things like that. Yeah. Good call. Nope. Command line arguments still the same. Oh yeah, yeah. And you'll be doing command line arguments until the Android project. Yeah, project 6. Yep. 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 And so yeah, here again, the command line usage, it's pretty much the same as it has been, and now we have a dash text. Sorry, we have dash pretty. New one this time. The dash pretty option. Yes, and yeah, pretty just prints to whatever file is specified here, or if the name of the file is dash, it prints a standard output. Yes. So yeah, it's kind of a all you do is print it out. You never parse the pretty file. The pretty file is meant to be consumed by a human, and so then you just write it out fresh every time. The text file and the pretty file are distinct files, right? Yep. And so then uh, actually very often, if not every time, both dash text file and dash pretty will be specified on the command line, right? So the idea is that, yep, you read in the text file, you add the new airline to it, and then you pre-print the airline. You mean have both on the both options on the command line? Yes. Well, the order of no, no, okay, fair enough. The order of operations is so when you have both dash text file and dash pretty, you do what you did in project two. You read in the text file to get an airline object. You create a new flight object from the information on the command line. Add the flight to the airline. Write the airline out to the text file, and if dash pretty is there, pretty print the airline out to whatever file or destination is specified with dash print. The dash pretty. Yeah. Good. Good questions. Excellent. More stuff. Is system.out a file descriptor in Java? Well, not well. It's a print stream, so I wouldn't really call it a file descriptor. Daniel, why do you ask? So, is there like a particular piece of behavior you were hoping to see on system.out? Are you looking to redirect it or something? I assume FD is file descriptor. Yes. Yeah, that's probably not what you want to do in this case anyway, even if you could do it. Instead, here's like the hint that I'll give. I want to use the same code for file I/O and standard I/O. Yes, you can do that. And here's the hint that I'll give you. If you look at like the text dumper, notice that the text dumper, which is an airline dumper, so it's going to be like your pretty printer. This constructor right here takes an arbitrary writer. So this text dumper can write to any writer. It has to be a file writer. So if you follow this pattern, it should be you can use the same pretty printing code to dump to any destination that is a writer. Nice, good. I'm glad you see. But yeah, because yeah, you make a very good point. You don't want to duplicate your pretty printing logic and stuff for different destinations. Instead, uh, you provide the text dumper whatever destination you want. Text dumper doesn't care. It says, oh yeah, it's some writer. I don't care if that's a writer that goes to a file or a writer that goes to standard out. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, you wouldn't resubmit, but after the challenging grading of project one, I let everybody resubmit that, no penalty. Um, but but here's the thing. Like with so many things, I'd rather have you all figure out how to fix the bugs, how to get things to work, especially things spill on top of each other. It's important to have like the first couple of projects kind of rock solid. So when in doubt, resubmit, and really the only time I'll say no is like if the graders have moved on or the graders are super busy or whatever. But I want to honor the work that you put in and give you the feedback. Well, yeah, right. So it's like, yeah, the reason to do well on the initial projects is actually worth fewer points each than the later ones. But yeah, the calculation you should have in your head is that, oh, you want to have a solid foundation in the first two projects to build three, four, and five on. Yeah. So yeah, so if there's things that, especially if you know how to fix it, or it's like, okay, yep, that's certainly anything having to do with the text file parsing, you're going to be doing that for the rest of the course. So yeah, definitely get that nice and rock solid. Yep. Yeah. And and like every day, like probably once a day, I'll check in and pull down the latest submissions and run through the grading script. And by the way, the graders spend a lot of time grading because they had to like catch up on a lot of project ones and do project twos. That's why they haven't gotten to your quizzes. I told them to prioritize feedback on the projects, um, and of course they'll have more coming up this weekend. So you know I want to be respectful of their time, and they did put a lot of time in this weekend. So I'll make sure that they're focused on stuff, but also, hey, as you get stuff working, you know, submit it, and we'll put it through, try to get you the feedback as fast as we can. Okay. Anything else for Prime Minister's questions? Nice. Okay. Let's see here. That's not what I want to look at. This is what I want to look at. Okay. I'm going to hide these controls. Clear panel. Not much good. Okay. So let's see here. Last week, more than a week ago, but it was only last week, we began a code refactoring kata. And so recall that, oh, and if anybody wants the handout, yeah, I'll just give you all the handout again. Um, let's do this one. Okay, code refactoring handout. Anyone's interested in that? Okay, so as I hope you recall, code refactoring is all about improving the internal quality of your code to make it easier to work with in the future. So make it more readable by the people that read it, make it so that it's easier to modify to add more functionality because we want our code to be successful. We want people to use our code. We want to fulfill a purpose, to solve a problem that's meaningful to someone. And when you succeed at that, they usually want more because they like what you do, which means that your code will have to change. Code that no one uses isn't worth changing because clearly it's not very valuable to people. So I hope you all had an opportunity to watch and review the code refactoring lecture. Yep, there's a lot of stuff there, but I mean I think this is one of the more interesting and more advanced concepts in the course because it really assumes that yeah you've got a code base that is worth maintaining, which all of you do in your project codes. And we talked about the relationship between what are called code smells. These are things where you look at the code and it's like, that's something that needs to be improved. That's hard to read, to understand, to interpret. Code that doesn't express itself well can be improved by refactoring it. And to demonstrate these concepts, and let's explore refactoring and the tools that IntelliJ has for refactoring, we've been working through this code kata called the Gilded Rose. And as you may recall, it's you've got this like establishment that sells things, and the items that it sells have different qualities in terms of how they age, what their value is, or what their value is as they age over time. And we went and looked at the implementation, and the implementation was a mess, right? I mean, it was just like, hard to read, and all these if statements, all this kind of stuff. And so we cleaned it up. We cleaned it up quite a lot. I think we got we picked the low-hanging fruit, made things easier to understand, and this is where we left things right now. We've still got a couple of ugly screens of code, and there's a really complex if statements. I mean, look at all the indentation, crazy stuff like that. And then we'll spend more time refactoring this tonight. So as a reminder, I'll open this up for now because we'll probably be consulting it later. There's this kind of complex business logic, if you will, for it, talking about the items that have a sell-in and a quality, and how again, what are some of the rules? Once the sell-by date is passed, quality degrades twice as fast for normal items. And the quality of an item can never go negative. It goes to zero and stops there. But there are some items that behave differently, right? There's aged debris, which increases in quality as it gets older. And for quality that for items whose quality increases, it never goes higher than 50. Um, there is this sulfurous item, which is legendary and never has to be sold. So its sell-in day never goes down, and its quality never decreases. I think it starts at 80. Yeah, down here. Of course, it's unfortunate that like that detail is down here in the specification, but that's the way it goes. Um, and then you have backstage passes that increase in quality until its sell-in date approaches. But once its sell-in date has passed, it drops to zero. And there's some logic here also. And so this is what was implemented now, and we believe it was implemented okay. Our task here is to then add a new type of item called conjured items that degrade in quality twice as fast as normal items. Okay, but then when we started looking at the code, it's like, oh man, this code's really hard to work with. Before we try to add more logic to it, let's let's take a look and refactor it and see what we can do. Oh, and by the way, we can't change the items class at all. That's just against the rules. Okay, fine, that's fine. Some goblin will insta rage at us, and I guess that's a bad thing. So anyway, we know the boundaries of the problem. Now let's spend a little bit more time exploring it. So we've got these given when then scenarios, which I think we might come back to later. But we also went through together and identified some of the code smells in the code, and we were able to do things like extract some constants because we had strings that were duplicated all over the place. We cleaned up the for loop. We got rid of some duplicate code. As I recall, like and instead of having like an item variable to loop over, it always said it was a for loop from I equals 0 to items.length. And so just gradually cleaning things up. And so now it's been a week. We're coming back to it, and I was curious about where we wanted to start off tonight. Are there what we didn't do? We didn't go through and we didn't check off which ones we had done. So let's see here. Checking which item way too many times. I think let's see here, 12. You know what? Things have changed so much. It's probably a little different now. So I don't know if we did this one or not. Too much nesting. That one we definitely haven't done. Repeat code. Oh, I think here are some things that we have done. I think we've done this one. So I'm going to mark this one off as green. Background color is going to be green. Yeah, we did that one. Switch statements. Oh, I like this one. Yeah, the filtering of sulfurous early on. I think it was the last thing that we did, right? We added sulfurous up here because we know that if it's sulfurous, we never update the quality, we never update the sell-in, and I think then we were able to get rid of a bunch of if statements inside there. So that was a good one to do. That was a cool one. Let's see here. Oh, someone started thinking about carbon monoxide. I don't remember what the carbon monoxide smell is. Oh, or is that just being funny? That's not it. I got one. Okay. Because you can't smell it. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Whew. Yeah. The items I is highly redundant. Yep. And so then, extract that into its own variable. Yeah, good suggestion right there. We did that. Redundant ifs. Yeah, I bet there's still some of those. But man, I don't know. I look at this code and it's so hard to figure out. I mean, I guess here's like two places where if we say item quality is less than 0, then decrement it. Yeah, I guess like this logic and this logic is the same, but oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. See, I think last time we picked a lot of low-hanging fruit, right? We were able to just use refactoring tools, and I wasn't worried about messing up the logic because everything was pretty straightforward. Things like extracting those constants and replacing the items I with item, things like that. But now, yeah, I mean, like, oh man, there's all this like duplicate code. Okay, nice. And yet, oh yeah, but it's not. Yeah, this is duplicate, but I think I made this mistake before. We can collapse these two, and it doesn't really work that way because it's important to note that you know when the selin is less than that you need to increment the quality twice in this. So okay. Oh right, and it never goes above 50. Okay. Ah, wow. Okay. Now, luckily, with all of this, we have this fixture test. And so this is an integration test that will go through and invoke the main class for 30 days of aging in in the Gilded Rose establishment. And what we do is we compare that output to like a gold standard. So this is like before the refactoring. This is how everything behaved. And so the intent here is that this will help us detect when we've broken something in the logic. And luckily we haven't broken anything yet. But that's I think it's because we've been doing easy stuff and we're very careful in what we did. I think tonight that we'll break things, but we'll see. Okay. Let's see here. What else have we done? Only checking for specific string matches. That is true. That is true, but no suggestions of what we could do. Useless checks. Line 14 checks for greater than 0, which will always be true because we cannot have negative values. Combine statements and remove extra clutter. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, you guys did a really great job of looking at all these code smells. Nice going. Yeah, so some if statements, like line 14 checks for greater than 0, which is always true. Oh, well, maybe not, because, yeah, I don't know if we can eliminate that or not. Okay. Well, so let's see here. Long method, use inheritance. Yeah, inheritance. I think that's where we want to go next. Any suggestions for like how we proceed? Anybody think about this over last week and come in tonight with like, oh, I want to explore something next. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. I like that. Yeah. So let's start writing some classes to represent these different kinds of items. Right. Because I think if the end goal here is to implement one of these conjured items, boy, it'd be really great if we could just implement the logic for conjured item and not have to worry about all the other logic around that. And I think it's doable. Okay, so let's give that a try. Um, I'm kind of inclined to start with sulfurous because then what we can do is we can sort of instead of comparing the name of the item, then we can start just using classes and stuff. So let's do that. And the first thing that I want to do though is I want to write some unit tests for the classes that we write. Because that way what we'll be able to do is test them in isolation because we have, oops, back here in the document, we did get all these given when thens. One year I had the students brainstorm given when thens, and I'm like, oh, that's really good stuff. It took a long time to brainstorm, so let's just keep that in the document and do that. So let's look for unit tests for sulfurous. Sulfurous? I don't know how to say it. Well, so there's one. Where it's selling a 0, quality of 10. Oh yeah, here's a different one. Oh, sum of 0 quality of 80. Nice. Okay. So let's do that. So then we will make a new test class, and we will call it sulfurous test. Did I spell that correctly? Sulfurous. Okay. And so this will be a test. Public. And then let's see here. Cell in sulfurous cell in never decreases. So right. So now we want to have like a sulfurous object. Sulfurous equals new sulfurous. We'll create one of these. We'll create that class and create it over in main. This is the thing that I always forget to do. And so now we've got a sulfurous class. And we want to say the following. Let's see here. I guess we want sulfurous to extend item. Oh, what doesn't it like? There's no default constructor. That is correct. Oops. So I'm going to create a constructor matching super. Sure. And here, let's see here. Sulfurous is always going to have the name sulfurous. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, I'm going to take the, well, I want to move this field over there. I think I can do a refactoring. Let's see here. Refactor, name, move members. I want to move sulfurous to sulfurous. Can I do that? Nice. Okay, so sulfurous. And then I think I want to rename this to name. Okay, yeah, great. So now I'm just going to always send this to that, and I don't need this parameter anymore, so I'm going to safely delete it. And now, great, I've got selin and I've got quality that are passed in there. Suddenly there's a problem. That's probably in my test. It is. Okay, and so then let's see here. Selin and then quality of, I don't know, 80. Sure, why not? And we're going to say this is 0. Now, sulfurous, we're going to say update quality. So this is the thing that happens at the end of the day, basically, right? And so then we have, we can put that on sulfurous. And then this is nothing. And so we're going to assert that, import all this stuff, that sulfurous dot quality, or sorry, selin is what we're testing, equal to selin. Yeah, so I mean, I think this is going to pass. Nice. Okay. And this is good. So I mean, this is kind of simple. And we'll do the same thing for quality. But I want these tests here so as I continue to refactor, I can just make sure that sulfurous works the way I expect. Yeah. Quality. So here, I don't need selling anymore. I'm going to inline that. And I'll just stay here. I'm going to have extract a variable for, I'm sorry, I'm going a little fast here. And let's see here. I think someone just catch me. It's possible to combine some of the if statements together. Oh, it's probably from a little while ago. like 27 and 29 to one condition where you use and. It might be. We'll go back and look at that, or maybe we won't need to because if we refactor our way out of it, I think all of a sudden, at some point, like all that will become dead code. So I don't know. I don't know where it makes more sense to do right now. Let's hide that. I'm going to extract a variable here for this. Introduce variable. I'm going to call it quality, and that's what I'm going to compare to down here as quality. Okay. I'm going to run that test also. I put it to pass because, well, there's really nothing to do. And this is one of those cases where I want to have the protection of the tests, but I'm not going to, but it's not going to really test any code under development because the code does nothing, because update quality makes no changes. Sulfurs. Okay. And now I'm going to go to Gilded Rose, and I'm going to say instead of name equals sulfurous, continue, I'm going to say if item instance of sulfurous, then I'm going to cast. I need to invoke the update quality method, so I'm going to cast item to a sulfurous, and I'm going to call update quality, and then I'm going to continue on to the next one. And we'll refactor this some more, but I want to take baby steps here. First, introduce a sulfurous and see how it goes. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to my test fixture. This is the thing that ultimately tests the update. Oh, it failed. Look at that. Oh, and it failed like in the most awful way possible too. Isn't that fascinating? Oh, I know why it didn't work. Okay, actually, I'm kind of curious. Is this? I can't easily see the diff between these two because the output's so big. That's pretty awful. I think what I've had to do in the past is like use fewer days or something, because I mean you can see it's a whole heck of a lot of output. But I think I know what the problem was. The problem was is that I didn't change the main method to replace these guys with sulfurous. Sulfurous, great, okay. I'm going to try running that again. Nice. Okay. So good. So now it looks like that works okay. So I'm going to commit this. Oops. Add a class for sulfurous. Where should we go next? Seems like we should introduce another class. Yeah? What are you thinking?
One thing I was thinking of was like coherences one sort of particular case.
Yeah.
And then I was wondering whether we were going down the path of making all these classes for thing. But it occurred to me that a lot of the other things are possibly just going to be for the same situation. Right? Like they're not, it'll be a different name, but they'll all get freeze time according to this time value.
Right.
Like our updating method is the same. And even with sulfurous, it is the problem. That even with first, it's like you could have a different thing with effectively not sulfurous. It's
Yep.
so then it makes you think is it maybe or maybe sulfurous is good to have its own, but there's also 5 or 6 other things that
Right.
are all just going to increase that somehow. Those all need to be their own separate classes for it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let's start thinking about an object hierarchy here, and like, yeah, cool. Yeah, and so like, okay, so yeah, you want to do a little object refactoring? Let's do that. Okay, so so we go to Sulfurous. Is it fair to say we're going to want some superclass of like all these kind of items? So we'll probably have like age debris, and we'll have backstage pass and stuff. So then, do they all have all share like a common superclass? You think? Yeah, I mean they have item, but this is probably one that okay, yeah. So let's just introduce that now.
There's
Um,
like two super class items. One
ah,
is about 40 item classes.
yep,
So that like it already has information what needs to happen with it.
right, the behavior, yeah,
But that which is to me is also sort of its own super class because there is some sort of update that is all
yeah. Okay.
but it's how it's being updated might be
Different for each.
but
Yeah,
it's also been sort of bigger. There's sort of repeated that was like some of these are all just the qualities decreasing or really different class for every single thing where that is effectively this quality decreases by the amount. It seems like
yeah.
those are all sort of one item where you say the update is
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, yeah, it does. That's where we're going with this. Let's take a couple steps to get there, though. So, like, first, let's extract a superclass for sulfurous. And this is the thing that we will share. So we'll do refactor and say extract superclass. And we got a good name for this thing. So what is like this the superclass of? Well, a conjured item is so a sulfurous is not a conjured item. So I think conjured item sulfurous would be like siblings, not like a parent-child relationship. Even before that. Actually, is it that's a good point. Is it legendary? Yeah, right. What was legendary? It is a legendary item. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, right? Yeah, like it seems like if sulfurous is the only kind, like yeah, how would a legendary item be different than sulfurous? What? Yeah, yeah, like it used to be all over the place. I don't know. It's like I seems like we don't need it yet, right? And so like I want to refactor, not prefactor. I don't know. It's like yeah, it's like hugs not drugs. I don't know. Anyway, it's yeah, yeah. What do you think? Yeah, right. If we end up with more legendary items. Okay, okay. Well, so yeah, it's kind of a red herring, right? Although I think it's a good lesson there about, and this is the thing with refactoring and object design and everything like that. Um, how open do you want it? I've encountered lots of object-oriented object hierarchies, class hierarchies. I've written them myself, where it's clear that someone was just having fun with abstractions, and like you have abstract classes all over the place, and it's like okay, and interfaces like, do we really need that? Was that really necessary? How is that used? And so then I've become a little more conservative about this in my old age, where it's like, let's not have no refactoring before its time. Um, but let's do age debris next. But anyway, but we'll do that next. And then, but this thing, how about just like updatable item as a name? Updatable item. And let's see here. I want the updatable item to have an update quality method, but I don't want a default implementation. I want to make it abstract to say that every one of these things has to have an update quality method, but I don't necessarily know how to implement it for all of them, which will make the class abstract too. So I'm going to click refactor. And so what IntelliJ did is it created this new updatable item class it marked the update quality method as at override, and it's asking me something. It's saying class updatable item has been successfully created. At this stage, IDEA can analyze uses of sulfurous and replacing the usages of updatable item where possible. Do you want to proceed? I do. I always click yes here. And it never does anything, but it looks like it found a couple places that could be updated. Local variables, no, this is the sulfurous test. I want to keep these as sulfurous, so I don't want to do that. And here, on the other hand, oh, this was a little bit more interesting. So, yeah, I don't want, so it is telling me, like, hey, we could update those variable types, which I don't want to do, or it could change this usage right here, which actually I do want it to change. This isn't update quality. This is in Gilded Rose, and here I do want it. I want to make this more general. I want to say anything that is an updatable item, call update quality and go on to the next one. So I think the way you do that in IntelliJ is that you delete these to tell IntelliJ not to refactor them, but I do want to refactor this one. So I'll click do refactor. Cannot perform refactoring operation. There were changes in code after the user was found. Please rerun search. Say no there. I wonder what it just did. Did it work? No, looks like it didn't change Gilded Rose. Okay, I don't understand. That refactoring thing never works for me. Nice. Okay, we just made that change. Let's run our tests again. Let's quick change. We made a change to sulfurous. Just make sure that those sulfurous unit tests still pass. Good, they do. And let's go to the text here. And run this again. Good, that passed also. Okay, nice, easy refactoring, but let's just leave it there. Introduced an abstract superclass for updatable item. Percent to GitHub. Nice. Okay, good. Now I think we're ready to create another type of item. And yeah, let's do age debris next. Let's see what we got for some unit tests there. So, okay, let's make an age debris test. We'll go to sulfurous, and now we'll create, actually I can do that up here too. I can say new Java class, and I can say age debris test. And then, oops, what's this one? Let's see here. Insulin of 2, quality of 1. Is that right? Oh, yeah. Okay, quality of 0. So its quality increases. So it's your quality increases as cell and day approaches. So we're going to have an age debris. Oops. And I'm going to create that class again over in main. And this is going to be an updatable item. Oops, updatable item. And it's going to need a constructor. I'm going to, oh yeah, implement its methods. Great, update quality. And it's going to want a constructor. Nice. And then once again, I'm going to want the age debris constant over from the Gilded Rose. Age debris, I'm going to refactor and move this over there. That's F6. I'm going to put that in age debris. I hope you're getting an appreciation for the refactoring tools in IntelliJ and how this lets you move code around much easier and much safer than just copying and pasting in in VI. Age debris here, so now we're going to have age debris. And I don't need this variable anymore, so I'll get rid of it for me. Okay, so one related problem that's over here in my test. Now I'm going to need a sell-in and a quality. And then I'm going to create local variables for these with the values. What selin starts off with 2 and 50 and goes to 1 and, oh, that was, 2 and 0. Selin equals 2 and quality equals 0. And after update quality is called, then I'm going to assert that import it. dot selin has decreased to 1 equal to 1. And that, oh, what does it look like? I must have imported the wrong thing. Yeah. Yep, I totally imported the wrong thing. Import qualify static call, import static method from Hamcrest. There we go. And then I'm going to say the same thing for quality. That's going to be equal to, it's going to be equal to 1 also, right? It goes up to quality 1, 1. Okay? And so now I'm going to run this. I fail because, well, the update quality method throws an exception, which actually is kind of a nice thing for it to do. Makes it very clear that, yep, it hasn't been implemented yet. So let's see here. Okay, update quality. Well, I'm going to say this dot selin decreases and this dot quality increases. Now, I think we all know this isn't the final logic for Brie, but here again, I'm writing just enough to make this unit test pass, right? So, because I want a different unit test, which then tests that, like, the maximum quality is 50. Next. Okay. Okay, this is good. I want to implement a little bit more in the aged Brie test then. I want to say, what was it? What was the next one? Oh yeah, when it's 50, so maximum quality is 50. And now we're going to say what? The selin is 2 and it's 50. So it's 2 and 50. And that selin's going to be 1, but it's still equal to quality. Fail because, yep, expected 50 but 51. Great. And so now aged Brie, I'm going to say that if this dot quality is less than 50, then increment quality. Now notice I'm not really going back and consulting with with the ugly code in the in Gilded Rose. That seemed to work. Maybe I could though, because that's the thing that's so confusing about this, right? It's like, it's there's no locality to this. So like aged Brie, yeah, selin. Oh, and I suppose we should test that selin cannot go negative. And then let's test that maximum quality is 0. Let's talk about selin cannot go negative. Selin cannot be negative. Well, maybe less than 0. So if we have 0 and 50 and we update quality, it should still be, should not change. Let's run that. Yep, expected 0 but with -1. Great. We'll just do if this dot selin is greater than 0, then decrement selin. This is one of those examples where, wow, you have like 3 times as much unit testing code as you have code under test, but you know it's right. And that's, for me, why I like to do this, is that, I'm taking these small steps. I'm implementing logic that we know needs to be implemented. Great. And now I can feel pretty confident that when I go to the test right here and I've got an aged debris, I can just replace this with aged debris. I don't need this anymore. That was the only aged debris, right? Yep, nice. And now when I run this this fixture test for 30 days, oh, it failed. Oh, isn't that interesting? I know what I can do to test this. I'm going to get rid of all of the other items and just isolate the debris then. Oh, that's still not going to work though, because direct. What did I do wrong? This isn't going to work because it'll have all the other ones still in there. So never mind. Boy, I wish there was a way for me to see this easier. Let me let's see here. Do I have? Sorry, folks. In the resources, I have 30 days of standard output. I think I also want one with like 1 day of standard output. So I'm gonna revert this. Have the old logic. Because right, you see how hard this is to debug. I mean, I get this big, huge output. I really can't compare the before and after. So what I'm going to do? Oh, okay. Well, nah. No, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a new. I want the output that's only of 1 day. So let's see here. I'm going to maybe clean verify here. So what I want to do is I want to get the golden image, the correct the output or the pre-refactor. That's this. The pre-refactor output of just maybe 2 days, which I think might make it easier to look at the before and after and see if that makes a difference. It might not. Okay, so now if I go and I run my jar file, what I call it, Gilded Rose, yep, Gilded Rose, and then, oh, oops, I need to fix that. So I didn't put that in the Honda.xml. Actually, is that the name of the, where is the main method? Oh, it's this, that's why I didn't do it, because this is over in test land, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, that's lame. Never mind then. I can't put a test class as the main in the jar. So what I will do instead is I will run this, and I will give it an argument of 2 and see if that does anything interesting. Okay, so it expects age debris of 1, 1, and then 0, 2, which is what I think I had. So, okay, but this is good to know. These are 0, 1, 2. Okay. Well, actually, I'm just going to try it here. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make a new file here, and I'm going to call it 2 days standard output.txt. And I'm just going to take all of this. I just want to see if this will work. Here, I've got that, and now I'm going to have those same items. Wait, I want this thing. And now I'm going to say 2 and 2 here, and let's see if that passes. I expect it should. Maybe we'll get like a new line that doesn't match or something like that. Nope, it didn't, but it's small enough that I at least get to click to see the difference. Oh, look, there's an extra new line there. Okay, so I need to add, oops, I need to add 2 new lines to the end of the text file. 2 new lines? Does that work? Yep, that works now. Okay, so this was good for 2 days. Now, if I change my aged brie here, does it still? Oops, does it's not gonna work. Stop. I know. Now if I get rid, so if I use my aged brie class, does it does this break? It doesn't. Darn it. This is where it gets a little challenging because I got to figure out at what point does the program break. Okay. Well, we're going to try it again here. We're going to go back to this guy, and we're going to. I want to change configuration. I guess I got to add configurations. So instead of 2, I'm going to do 5. Okay, so here's what I'm doing, right? I've got, there's a bug here someplace. And by the way, if someone sees the bug, if they know what I did wrong with aged brie, I'd like to know. But I'm trying to figure out like where my logic in the aged brie differs from the logic in the big ugly code, in the Gilded Rose. So somewhere in here, aged brie. Yeah, aged brie behaves differently than I've got it implemented right now. And if it doesn't equal, and this is where this code is really killer, right? It's so hard to debug because it's so hard to make sense of. And so what I'm trying to do then is, figure out, like selin gets declared 1 if selin is less than 0. Oh, if selin is less than 0, selin can be less than 0. Gee, I thought it couldn't be, but yet, I mean, all of this code right here assumes it's less than 0. I don't know. I don't think so, though, because the 30-day standard output we haven't changed. So that was generated from like the original super ugly code. And now we're down this. So I'm pretty confident that that's not the problem. Um, but I don't know. This kind of does tell me that there's some logic here. So like if it's less than 0, which means it's met its state. So maybe there's something that happens on the 0th day. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it shouldn't be decremented any further, but it's okay for it to be -1. Does that mean the sell by date is passed? Yeah. Oh, actually, so, yeah. So maybe that's not true. Maybe you can have sell-in that goes. Yeah. Yep. So then, yeah, there's -1. Oh, yeah, there's -2 and stuff. Okay, so actually that test case is bogus then. Okay, so I don't know where I got that idea. Quality, okay, but it's okay for, okay. Boy, that makes sense. Right. Okay, good to know. Okay. Well then, sell in can be less than 0. See what you learn. And so then, yeah, let's fix that then. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, I think that's the problem. So, right, this is what refactoring is all about, is trying to understand the code and trying to make sense of it. And this is, we do this all the time professionally. Okay, so you always decrement selling. Oops. And see, this is why I like to have tests to explore all of this stuff. Because even when it's not 7 o'clock at night, I know that I'm not smart enough to keep all this in my head, especially when the code is really ugly. Okay, well, let's try this again, and let's go back to 30 and see if this now works. Nope, still. Damn it. Okay. Let's okay, now let's try oh, really interesting. So 30. So we could triangulate. We could try 15 days, or what we could do is just look at 3. What if we just did that? No, I really couldn't do that. Okay. Well, I could. Yeah, so if we just, so I don't know, would it be easier? I think it, because right, the problem here is that like this output is so hard to work with. Now, I suppose I could probably just figure out some other way to do a comparison here. But yeah, I think, yeah, here's what I want to do. Yeah, I'll just do that. Okay, so I will go back and I will generate, I will edit my configurations. I'm going to, actually, no, I'm going to do 30 days of just 3. So I want, oops. No, that's not what I want. I want to run configurations. This application, here it is. So I want 30 days here, but I want the Gilded Rose to only contain 3. And I don't, so I don't want to use age 3 anymore over here because I'm taking like the snapshot. I'm going to comment out all of these. Oops, doesn't look like. What? I must have commented that too. Oh, I see. Ugh. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now when I run this, the main method, I'm just going to get a bunch of brie. And maybe just looking at that will be good enough for us to figure out what's wrong here. Yeah, wow, that's really interesting because that seems to be doing the right thing. There's -1. Oh, wait, it doesn't. Oh, wait, the quality. Oh, we didn't implement the quality increases by 2 after the sell date. Ah, okay, this is good. Probably why it's good to like just go back and look at the specs one more time. Okay, quality increases by 2 after sell date. So yeah, so we basically want a brie that goes from 0 and 2 in quality, and that the selling is -1, and the quality is, well, actually, we just do it up here, I suppose. Yeah, the quality is now, it started at 2 and now goes to 4. And I don't need this test anymore because this test is now redundant. Interesting. Okay. So now let's run this test. Yep. Okay, it expected 4 but was just 3 because we only incremented once. And let's see here. If the quality is less than 50, then increment the quality. I don't know. What do you think? I'm inclined to express it like if this dot selling is less than 0, then increment it by 2. Otherwise, I think this is a more expressive way to write this. Like if you look at what they did in the Gilded Rose, they have this logic here, but it's like it's up here. They call plus plus twice because I mean, alternatively, I could just write this as if it's less than 0. I could just say like this, and then do it again if it's less than 0. I think this is confusing the way this is written because for me that's cognitive load. It's like I got to figure out that like, oh yeah, right. I always increment it by 1 when it's less than 50, and then but here it can't go over 50. So this logic isn't exactly right. Okay. Oh, I can. Okay. There's another test that I want to write, and I want to say that or actually maximum quality is 50. And I want to say maximum quality after sell date is still 50. And we're going to have an edge case here, maximum quality after sell by is 50. So if we have a quality of 49 and the sell-in is already -1, the sell-in will be -2, but we still want the quality to be 50. Because normally it'd be incremented by 2 if we're not careful. So first thing I'm going to do actually is, I think I fixed this one by now. Okay, that one works. And this one will break because I think it goes to 51. Oh, oops. What was -2? Yeah, you're right. Should be -2. Yep. So 50 put up was 51. So then aged brie. Okay, so now the logic is a little confusing because it's like if this dot sell-in is less than 0 and this dot quality is less than 50, increment it. That passes. I don't like this code though, because I mean it's like you have this dot quality is less than 50 is duplicated. So I want to change this code. I want to refactor this code, and I want to say the following. I want to say I'm going to have an increment quality method, and what increment quality is going to do is I'm going to extract a method with this code right here, and so I'm going to say refactor, introduce extract method. Sorry, where's extract method? I'm going to call it increment quality. Sure, I want to replace both those occurrences. But I want to put this check for this quality less than 50 inside this method. I think that'll just read better. So if this dot quality is less than 50, then increment it. And now I can get rid of the check up here, and I can just say if now I can do this. And get rid of that, and get rid of that indentation. Yeah, I like this better. Right? I think this reads easier, and that way the, what is it like here? Return value is never used. Well, I don't want a return value. There you go. Let me return that. Yeah, I think this reads better. And then it puts the check for the quality in one place. Nice. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's try running this test again. See if I busted anything. Okay, nice. I'm going to run all of my tests now and see if they pass. Okay, they do. Now I'm going to run the 30-day. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to change it back to brie once more. Aged brie. Get rid of aged brie. Now I'm going to run my 30-day test again and see if it gets it all this time. Hey, it worked. Wow. So you see what we did here? We had to like rediscover certain business logic and things like that. This is what refactoring is all about. Refactoring with tests is sort of exploring and triangulating your code, trying to trying to figure everything out. Um, I encourage you to resist the urge to make too many changes in refactoring. I've done that so many times where I've like, oh great, the code is so much better now, and it's wrong because I inadvertently broke the first rule of refactoring, which is like, don't change the logic, just change the shape of the code. And you want to keep the logic the same, and the only way to do that is to write a test that verifies it. Nice. So I think we have aged brie now. Woofed. Sheesh. Okay. So let's see. We started at 6, which means we go until 7:50. Is that right? You need a break, or do you want to end a little early? Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly what I mean, right? So like that, like when I extracted the method and replaced all usages of this dot quality plus plus with increment quality, that doesn't change the logic; it just moves the code in different places. But then I was able to do some more massaging of it and put the logic in there, and I had tests to tell me that it still worked the way I expected. So yeah, that's the refactoring with tests then gives you more confidence, which helps you ultimately go faster, or at least go and because you're going safer along the way. Sorry, 10-minute break now, or end 10 minutes early. It's okay. No, no, early, early. Yeah. Right. Cool. Uh, okay, that was Bree. Let's do backstage pass. Okay, and let's be more careful this time about the logic. Let's see if we can get the logic right on this one. So we'll go to our age pretest and create a new Java class, which is backstage pass test. Okay, let's remind ourselves what the logic of the backstage pass is. Backstage pass is like age brie, increasing quality as sell-in value approaches. Quality increases by 2 when they're 10 days or less, and by 3 when they're 5 days or less, but quality drops to 0 after the content. Okay. So let's see here. We will say, okay, so before 11 days, the quality increases by 1. Yes. Okay. So more than 10 days out, 10 days before, quality increases by 1. Okay, so backstage pass. Go through creator classes. This will be an updatable item. And we'll implement the methods, and then we'll implement the constructor. And we'll do the thing of getting the backstage pass over to factor move. We'll put this over in backstage pass. Nice. That's a nice refactor. Okay, and then backstage pass, we want to use backstage pass. We want to rename this to rename that to name. Maybe I didn't do with age brie. I don't remember. Don't need that argument anymore. And now, great. Okay, we'll go to the test. So let's see here. So we'll have sell-in, we'll have quality, and we'll create variables for both of those. And we'll create a variable for that. So let's see here, more than, so 11 days, and then the quality is 1. We expect that after you call update quality, then assert that, let's report that from Hamcrest, assert that pass.selling equal to Hamcrest. Selling is now 10, and quality is 2, right? It increases when you are more than 10 days out. More than 10 days before quality increases. Quality increases by 1. Okay, this will fail because we throw an exception on update quality. Cool. So let's see here. We want to say then if sell-in is greater than 10, then this dot quality plus plus. Let's see here. Backstage passes, do they have the same rules about a maximum of 50? You know, the quality of an item is never more than 50 except for sulfurous. Oh, okay. So maybe we should put that logic up in the superclass. Let's write a test for it first. So let's see here. That's going to be one of them. And actually, well, okay. And I'll just make a note of this here. Void quality never exceeds 50. So we got that here. And then the selling is the quality is 49. Actually, if the quality is already 50, and we're 11 days out, the sell-in should be 10, quality should still be 50. Okay, let's get this one to pass first, though. If the sell-in is greater than that, great, otherwise, and then we will decrement sell-in. Backstage pass, let's run that. 1, 2, it passes. Nice. Quality never exceeds 50, though. Fails because it does exceed 50. So how about we'll do the following? We will move the increment from aged brie. We will, so I want to take, okay, so aged brie extends updatable item. I want to move this increment quality method up to updatable item so they can use it in Backstage Pass. So the way you do that is that you say refactor and you say pull members up, and it selects increment quality. Yep, I'm going to move it up to updatable item. And there it is. It makes it protected now. And now over here in Backstage Pass, I can say instead of this.quality plus plus, I can say increment quality. And then that will then do the check for the maximum, the maximum quality. And then I'm going to run all my Backstage tests. Nice. And since I changed the superclass, I'm just going to rerun all of my unit tests. It's cheap to do. Just want to make sure that all of them still work. And they do. That's super awesome. Okay, nice. We'll get that one passing. What other logic is there in Backstage Passes? So let's see here. What's our next test? Okay. Quality increases by 2 when they're 10 days or less. So when there are 10 days, so let's see here. Oops. Void quality. Sorry, more than, sorry. With 10 days left. Yeah, before. with 10 days before sell-in, quality increases by 2. And then so sell-in is going to be 10. Quality will have it start off at 4, and afterwards sell-in will be 9 days left, and quality will go up to 6. So to fail, I think fail, the 9 will be okay, but then 6 will need to be, will only be 5, but it was 4. Oh yeah, because it didn't change. Oh, that's interesting. Why didn't it change? Oh, because sell-in is equal to 10. Okay, so if, greater than 10. Yeah, increment quality once. Otherwise, okay, yeah. Okay, otherwise, right, I'll just say, I'll just call it increment quality twice. Yeah, I guess I'll just do that. Ultimately, I know it's not the right logic, but I want to write the tests first, see them passing, get them going one at a time. Okay, that is all. That's all right still. That's good to know. As you can see, I mean, it just takes a matter of seconds to rerun the tests, revalidate everything. So yep, it's all working. Great. And now it's time for that last piece of logic. Increments by 3 when they're 5 days or less. So with 5 days before sell dates. 5 days before sell date, quality increases by 3. So when there's 5, so the sell in goes to 4, and then that equals to 7. Great. Yes, that makes sense. So now we need to say we'll increment. So then else if sell in is greater than 5, increment twice. Otherwise, increment 3 times, which I don't know, that's getting kind of hokey, but I don't know. It's good enough, I think. It's very clear. Maybe we need to send in a value to increment quality. I'm not sure. Try this again. Okay, that's passing. Let's make sure all the other ones pass. Cool, they do. And then the last thing is quality got to 0 after the concert. So that means if the date has passed. Okay. So then after concert, quality is 0. After concert, quality is 0. So the sell-in is -1. It's after the concert. The initial, well, actually, it said the last day. No, on the last day, it's going to have values. After the concert. Oh, interesting. So how do we even express this? It's really, I guess it's on the last day. So it starts out, it is the last day. It's the quality of the concert. The concert, yeah, it's the day of the concert. And then afterwards, the value is 0. Okay, instead, yeah, it went up by 3, which is fine. So then here, well then, yeah, I guess we say then, oops, else if sell-in is greater than 0. Yeah, because that was equal to 0, do that. And then otherwise, let's see here. This won't decrement the quality. I think we need to, right, if I just say this isn't going to be sufficient. I think it'll still be 4 or whatever. I think I need to explicitly say, yeah. So I think I just now need to say else this dot quality equals 0. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think of this code that I'm writing right here? Does this make sense to you? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's too many if statements, right? Yeah, right. That's why I think this is smelly, right? But yeah. I Yeah, I mean, like if we replaced instead of the 2 calls here, if we just said if quality increment quality by 2, does that make it easier to read? I don't know. Yeah, right. So it's like, yeah, yeah, do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay. So actually, you know what? I want to make sure this code works. For actually, you know what? I need to do that first. Yeah, yeah. Because then I'll do a little bit of refactoring of my refactoring later. So let's see here. All that code works. Let's see if this guy still works. Oh, I need to the change the text picture, and all these are backstage passes now. Moment of truth is where it always breaks, right? It's always something I forget. Okay, now let's see here. There's this test still run. Moment of truth. No way, that worked. Wow. I did it right, yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm going to commit this, and then we'll go back and look at that code. Add backstage pass. Yeah, let's refactor this. Yeah, let's just do that. Now let's see here. Does it make more sense? Do you want to overload it, or should we just always add like a number for incrementing it? No need to apologize. Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. You're thinking. I can see a deep in thought.
I just wondered if there's some way that instead of having that if there's more of a way to carve it. So I'm just thinking of the logical way when I maybe if you have this way, you just call it once for each piece, and that way overall.
It does.
Because I did use them like
Well, yeah. It's like I can never tell like what's. Yeah, we can like just try it and see how it looks. So okay, well let's. So yeah, so are you saying something along the lines of having some sort of like cascading thing, or
yeah, where it's just like I guess I'm thinking,
yeah, instead of the else if?
it doesn't work this way, but like the easy way to do this is like what if it was, at 10 it's one and at 5 it's one and 0. Because the logic doesn't help the logic without that.
I don't know. Does this?
It's supposed to be as it gets closer,
See, for me, I find this a little more difficult to read because, like, if you're looking at this line down here, you have to understand everything that happens up here. But maybe that's okay. I don't know.
I do like, I will say this though, I do like the sending with maybe quality where it's just increasing by and understanding. in any of those cases, you were calling it once multiple times, and then you're basically setting an argument about everything in all of your classes now is only going to be all this once.
Yeah.
With that person instead of, so like if you're going to get really better performance on some items and maybe only you versus others.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, let me make a good point about performance. And like for me, I go back to, well, is what's more readable and what do you want to optimize for? Code reading or performance? These days, like, I want to make it easier because I mean, computer's so cheap, humans are so expensive. And so like, yeah, I optimize for the humans. But anyway, yeah, does this code work? Did I get that logic right? I'm gonna try the test. See if this works. I don't know. I find it a little wonky. But yeah, I think I found that I am just like far too comfortable with lots of if statements. Oh, no, let's say I broke something. Yeah, I the two was for. I don't know. You have to have like.
I think the hard part is that you have the previous logic and I think you have to reorganize it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, that's why
Nah.
each step was like.
I don't like it. I'm gonna revert the entire file. I don't like those changes. Yep, okay. This is good though, right? I mean, you experiment. You say, oh yeah, what's more readable? What makes more sense? I kind of like the idea of just saying increment quality 2 here instead, and I will then create this method, and then for int, oops, int j equals 0 while j is less than I. Oh, I don't like this at all. Less than I, j plus plus. Let me say update quality. Oops. It's always 2. Well, yeah. You'll get used to it. There we go. Yeah, that's more readable, I think. I think that makes a lot more sense. Oops, it didn't get it right, though. Stack Overflow. Oh, no? Wait, what? Why does it get a Stack Overflow? It's calling itself. Update quality 3 calls increment quality. Oh, update quality. That's why. Increment quality. There you go. Testing, right? Because I'm dumb. Yeah. That's why I don't code at night anymore. Anyway. Nice. Okay. I think that improves a little bit. That looks a little nicer. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Yeah, it's just, the reality of this business. Because sometimes complex business logic needs a little complex code. At least here, I try to make it a little better. Sweet. And just make sure that nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see here. Now it's almost time for us to go. So let's just sort of bring this to a close by talking about maybe where we would go next. So I think we made a lot of progress tonight, right? We have, let's look at sort of this text fixture here. I mean, we have replaced, well, all but these two, like, normal items with these ones. And actually, gosh, we could have. We didn't make any changes to the Gilded Rose itself. We just basically created a bunch of dead code, which nothing wrong with that. Because yeah, probably what we would do then is the following. We would implement like, I don't know, like a regular item or like a plain item or whatever that just has the let's see here, like the quality never goes more than 50, and then as yeah, we implement the sell by date and the quality degrading twice as fast. It never goes negative. So there's some tests there for that. Yeah, we could implement that sort of regular item, and then we could implement a conjured item, and probably eventually what we do is we go back to Gilded Rose. I mean, eventually, like all of this code becomes dead code. It's like I think the refactoring folks have deemed this term as like the strangle method of it. Basically, you make code, yeah, right, which is actually kind of gross anyway, but it's like, but the whole idea here is that we make all this complex code dead. You don't need it anymore, and then you go and delete it and everything else because all this logic has been implemented in the update quality method of these other classes. And while yeah, you lose logic locality, really there's no reason for this logic to be close to each other. You're not buying anything here by having all of this complex if statements that you have to know what happens here before you increment selling, what happens after you increment selling. Ick. Right? This is, yeah, that's tough to do. So yeah, nice. So like here, I'm actually, yeah, I'm kind of curious about doing, but let's see here. I'm curious to see if if there's any dead code that is identified by the code coverage. Because that would I think that would give us an indication that yes, we are starting to have that code fade away. Oh, what's this strangle? And so if we then open the code coverage report, come on, down here. Let's see here, target site, Jacopo index. Oh, we're getting some missed instructions. This is good in Gilded Rose. Update quality. Ah, look at that. Right? So like all of a sudden this is like dead code. And if you believe that your tests have good coverage, which we believe they do, right? It means like all of this stuff could go away and it wouldn't matter. And sure enough, look, this is all the stuff that when you do have, because this is not aged brie and not backstage pass, but now this was all the logic for backstage pass and aged brie, don't need it anymore. So this is another good indication that you are refactoring away, right? When your code, when this code is no longer covered by your test, it means that all of the code that matters is executed up here. So actually, in this case, yeah, you're creating dead code. Yeah, neat. First time definition of neat. Excellent. What'd you think? That was like 2 classes worth of refactoring. Something, yeah, something good, something different. Neat. So I encourage you to get familiar with the refactoring tools, with the patterns, with the code smells, to know like when you're looking at your code that maybe you wrote last week or 2 weeks ago, and you're like, that can be cleaned up a little bit, and now you have some tools for doing that. On Wednesday, we're going to introduce Project 5. I know you're still working on Project 3 now, and we still have Project 4. But I want to get started on Project 5. We start over with a new Maven project, because this is the client server. This is the REST API. And this is very different. So next week, I'm going to spend the class introducing the REST API project and pointing out how it's different from your other projects. And then in, I guess, 2 weeks from, no, 1 week from tonight? No, yeah, 2 weeks from tonight. Monday the 17th, right. And then in a little while, we'll come back to the REST API project, and we'll be doing some refactoring for it to begin there's an out-of-the-box application that we will begin morphing and using refactoring tools to turn into an airline with flights. So all good stuff coming up, and also we've got mob programming starting next week. Anyway, that's it. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed class tonight. Stay warm and have a good couple of days. I will see you again on Wednesday. Bye. Thanks for joining.